Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host, Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteToday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at SOULPP.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Also, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. All right, here we go. It's time to bring you the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith's here every other week. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, welcome back to the show. How's everything on your end of the world?
Everything's great, Steve. You know, we're in the August. We're kind of getting ready for a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm going to be headed up to Corvettes of Carlisle, as well as you will be. Immediately afterwards, we'll be at the NCM anniversary show and the Hall of Fame celebration. Lots of stuff on the calendar these next few weeks.
Yep, it's going to get busy, buddy. That's for sure. Well, let's start off the show like we always do, Keith, with a production update at the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
Absolutely. So production currently stands at approximately 47,779 for the 2023 model year. Those numbers are coming from late last week, so obviously a little bit of change there. But that's 42,894 Stingrays and then 4,885 Z06s.
Wow.
So we're really closing in on that 5,000 Z06 milestone, which I don't think many people thought we'd hit. I certainly didn't think it would be that high based on the very slow ramp up we saw at the beginning of the model year. So all's good news here. Close to your heart as far as the 70th anniversary models, we can break these down. We have 4,017 70th anniversary Stingrays and 721 70th anniversary Z06s. So 4738 is our count for the anniversary models. We're wondering if we're going to hit 5,000. I think it's going to kind of be touch and go. I'm not exactly sure we will, but that would be a great milestone to hit that number. Our current total of 47,779 model year 2023 Corvettes has us now at 4th in production of all time. And only the 84, 79, and the 77 model years are still ahead of us. We should actually surpass the 1977 model year production count. That number was 49,000 something between now and the next time we do our news and headline shows. Then it's actually just going to be a race to see how many more we can get completed before the end of the model year comes to close on September 12th. Of course, you know, the top production record, 1979, 53,807. And then that's followed in second place by the 1984 Corvettes, 51,547. Of course, 84s, they started early and ran a longer time. So that's how they got got that number so high there. I think we might end up being second. I'm not sure if we can actually hit that top number, but we don't know what kind of games Chevy's playing. We had a couple production days over the last few weeks where we actually surpassed 200 cars over 2 shifts. Sounds like they're trying to make up some cars. It could be from another event that we saw that first production shift had to close early, but there really looks like they're trying to make up cars. We know that they initially were going to end production on the 1st. Now it's extended through the 12th. Looks like they're going for the record. It also looks like there might be some additional parts that they're just trying to put on cars before the model year ends. It's really an interesting story, and it's a horse race that we're going to be watching closely over the next few weeks.
It's going to be a photo finish like we talked about on our last news and headline show, Keith.
Uh-huh.
And I saw that the 2024 ordering began on Thursday, July 27th, too.
Yep, it was the order books opening officially for the 2024 Corvette Stingray and Z06 models. This was the first batch of 2024 models to hit the ordering process. There was a number of constraints that came out for both models. The biggest constraints were those new exterior colors. Of course, we have the Cacti, Seawolf, and Riptide Blues, but it looks like production just hasn't gotten there yet. There were 0 Cacti greens available for this first order cycle for either the Stingray or the Z06, and then combined 12 Seawolf grays and a combined 47 Riptide Blues. So they're really just starting to ramp up. Hopefully you had a Rapid Blue or a Torch Red car on order as opposed to one of these new colors, but they'll catch up pretty quickly, I'm sure, as we get into the actual model year itself. Some of the other constraint news shows plenty of Z07 aero components were available.
Good.
Decent quantities there. Chevy also had the J57 carbon ceramic brakes with a national number of 220 available. Again, probably enough to fulfill the Z06 owners out there that wanted them. We're kind of wondering why that was on constraint. We'd never seen them on constraints recently. Wondering if that's kind of in preparation for the E-Ray, which has the J57 CCBs, the standard equipment, kind of watching what was going to happen there. Those E-Rays, actually, the first order cycle for them begins on August 17th. That'll take care of that first batch of all 3 models for 2024, and then the model year starts on the 12th. Probably right around then, there'll be another order cycle for, we assume, Stingray and Z06 again to start filling in that second batch after production starts there. Lots of moving parts here, though. Really interesting stuff. We see a staggered start for E-Ray, but there's nothing that's really indicating that production quantities are going to be low when it actually does start. We're just going to have to kind of wait and see. We'll talk to our dealers in mid-August to find out what kind of quantities they got for E-Rays, and then that'll give us a really good indication of where we're starting production with that car when it does start down the line.
Yep, that's right. And speaking of 2024s, Keith, GM still has that 6-month no-flip policy. However, there's one key difference.
Yeah, Z06 enthusiasts know GM tried to limit the immediate flipping of their cars with this carrot stick approach. You know, the buyers who kept their cars for longer than 6 months, they got 500,000 My Chevy Rewards points valued at $5,000. But if the car was flipped within that time period, that owner didn't get the points, and then the Z06's warranty was no longer transferable to the new owner. So once ordering was getting ready to start, we reached out to Chevrolet to find out, you know, are they going to continue that policy for the 2024 model year? The short answer is yes. However, again, key differences, they are adding E-Ray as well. So E-Ray is also now subject to a 6-month no-flip policy. However, they got rid of the carrot, Steve. They said no more points. It hits the seller. It hits the next buyer for the car. We've said this before, that it looks like this policy now only rewards dealers for charging higher market adjustments, because that's the only place that you can get a car with a warranty if individuals start flipping their cars within those 6 months. It's disappointing to see Chevrolet do this. There's, again, nothing reeling in these dealers. I expect these markups just to continue for the Z06 and the E-Ray. We don't know how much is going to be on E-Ray, but, you know, there's a lot of buyers that had Z06s. They were looking at 3 and 4 year waits, so they jumped over to an E-Ray list. Again, it's just kind of everything up in the air. But, yep, Chevy is getting rid of the 500,000 My Rewards points. So you do not pass go. You do not collect your $5,000 in points.
That's exactly what I was going to say, buddy. That was perfect. Great minds think alike.
Uh-huh.
Also, the Z06 configurator is now up, and it's showing full pricing. We don't have that See Dealer for pricing anymore in there.
Yeah, that's what we saw when everything first went live. And it's like, we're like, wait, pricing just came out. How can we see dealers for pricing? We had an inkling. I think we mentioned this on the last show after one of our Chevy dealer friends said that the only pricing they didn't have in the GM order system was the gas guzzler tax. It looked like it was still pending. So we actually reached out to Chevrolet. They did say, yeah, they were waiting for confirmation on the gas guzzler tax. However, the day that we talked to them, they told us that it has been confirmed. There was no change from last year's figures.
Good. Good.
So that means that a non-Z07 buyer, their tax is $2,600, while the Z06 owner buying a Z07 performance package has to pay the $3,000 for it. When you go to the build and price configurator for the Z06, prices are showing up across the board for that. We've had some interesting comments too about some people wondering if the E-Ray would also have a gas guzzler tax. And we just have to remind people, no, that's using the LT2, the Stingray engine, that does not have a gas guzzler tax. And in fact, gas mileage might be slightly enhanced with the front wheel drive aspects of the car. So there is no gas guzzler tax for E-Rays if people were wondering that.
Absolutely right. Also in Australia, Keith, GM Specialty Vehicles announced CO6 pricing, and it's up in the Ferrari range, isn't it?
It's stunning is actually what it is. So GM Specialty Vehicles handles the sales of Corvettes in the land down under. They announced that 2024 Z06 will cost $336,000. That's Australian dollars. That's before some of the on-road costs are tacked on. They call those on-road costs as additional taxes. But we actually had a few Aussie readers chime in on our comment section, and they said that they're seeing the pricing there, a 3LZ Z06 at $265,000.
Oh.
And then there's nearly $100,000 in taxes on it.
Oh.
There's a luxury car tax, there's a 10% general sales tax, and then there's a stamp duty tax of around 20,000 Australian dollars as well. The website whichcar.com.au predicts the final drive-out price is going to be in that $350,000 to $400,000 range. Again, just stunning figures coming out from Australia. Again, stunning prices down there. Like you said, Ferrari range, the whole importing of the car, the differences between the United States dollars, the Australian dollars, and then, of course, all the taxes and regulations that Australia has thrown on its process to bring in cars from outside the country as well. So, yeah, not good news, but hopefully there'll be some people down there that will be able to secure one and enjoy it. We don't expect quantities to be that high. We were talking about Japan's exports being about 16 for that first order cycle over there. These guys, I think, got 30 or so Stingrays.
Okay.
I think quantities are going to be very limited, at least in the initial rollout. We'll see what happens.
It's for the Australian elite, that's for sure. Our final story, Keith, in the news section, Bowling Green Assembly Plant had an underground water pipe break, didn't they?
Yeah, so this news came out on Friday, July 26th. So it's Friday afternoon, and a friend of mine says, hey, I was on Facebook, and did I see that there was a sinkhole at the Corvette assembly plant?
Oh.
Those are the words that people don't want to hear, especially after the 2014 sinkhole at the Corvette Museum that swallowed 8 cars in the Sky Dome. We actually got in touch with the communications director up there. What they told us was there was an underground water pipe had burst, and it actually impacted the surrounding concrete. We still don't know where this location was. I don't know if it was inside or outside, but they did tell us that at the time that it happened, it affected the plant's fire suppression system. So the first shift actually ended early, but then they had the fire department out there. They had some geological experts out there. They said, nope, everything is good. We can go with second shift. So second shift opened up that day, and we haven't really heard much about this since. We're going to check it out when we get up there again for the NCM anniversary celebration and find out from some of our friends exactly what happened up there. But yeah, it looks like we dodged a bullet for sure.
Sounds good. Well, buddy, it's time for our first break. When we come back, it's Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. That's on deck next at Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Wheelcraft is returning to Carlisle this year with on-site mounting and balancing services on Installation Alley. Take advantages of the on-site exchange of your factory wheels for Wheelcraft PVD chrome and eliminate all shipping charges, which can be a savings of $150 to $300. Wheelcraft is prepared to exchange C8's 5-spoke, Trident 20-spoke, and Z06 wheels, as well as select models of C4 through C7 factory wheels. Contact Wheelcraft today to place your order and let our mobile tire service partner mount and balance your newly finished wheels so you return home in style. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. If you're planning on attending Carlisle, be sure to visit Wheelcraft Wheelcraft on the Midway and take advantage of mobile and wheel exchange on Installation Alley. Call early to place your order and reserve your appointment for installation. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Car Capsule brings you the official multi-award-winning Corvette SC1 Showcase. It's the ultimate form of protection, preservation, and presentation for your Corvette. No dust, mold, or mildew. This officially licensed GM product features all 8 Corvette flag logos, Corvette branding on the panels, a carbon fiber look and feel, and interior chip onboard lighting, plus the IntelliCharge battery charger with the fan backup system. It takes only 5 minutes to inflate, and it won't collapse when you open the doors or during a power loss. It's a freestanding drive-in, drive-out operation. See it at carcapsule.com or call 219-945-9493.
Are you ready to take your Corvette to the next level? Look no further than Classic Trim Customs. As the #1 supplier for American hydrocarbon, we've manufactured some of the most impressive Corvette parts on the market, from engine bay panels to splitters and side skirts. With over 30 years of experience in hydrographics, we've perfected the technique and use only state-of-the-art materials and equipment to ensure the highest quality and precision. Visit our website at classictrimcustoms.com or give us a call at 305-258-3090 to learn more about our products and services. Whether you want to create a show-stopping ride or just add a touch of personalization, the sky is the limit with Classic Trim Customs. Let us help you create the Corvette of your dreams.
The Radiator Grill Store offers protection for your C8's front radiators and side intakes. They also carry front strut tower covers to prevent rusting and pooling water, all with do-it-yourself installation. Get 10% off your total purchase with promo code CT10. See the full line of products at radiatorgrillstore.com.
This is the Corvette Today podcast with Steve Garrett.
Thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Car show season is here, and you want your Corvette looking its best. Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com, where we keep you current and up to date every other week on what's happening in the world of Corvette. In segment number 2, we always talk about Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. We have a couple previews for Corvette racing, Keith, Lime Rock and also Road America.
Yeah, so Lime Rock happened at the end of July. It was kind of a bad news, good news situation for Corvette racing. You know, bad news was that Garcia and Taylor finished 4th in the number 3 C8R, so not a great finish overall. But the good news is that the points that we got and the other teams in the mix allowed us to move actually into second place and securely into second place in the drivers, team, and manufacturing standings. We're chasing that number 14 Lexus, and boy, you know, we really need to get some wins. That's really what it comes down to. Is we get the wins, we get the big points. We're over 100 points down from them, but within striking distance still, so it's not a runaway yet. And then, of course, like you said, it all comes together this weekend, or actually last weekend. We're recording this prior to Sunday's race at Road America, but traditionally Corvettes have always done well at that high-speed track. The other thing, too, about Road America is that they were recently repaved and have a new surface there. So the team is hoping that'll help with some tire degradation. That's always been the price paid for those high-speed curves around that 4-mile track. We'll have the results for you in the next News and Headlines podcast, but we are closing in on towards the end of the season. I think about 3 races left after Road America.
That sounds good. I like Road America. It's a fast track for sure. Also, I was really glad to see this, Keith. AWA Racing is going to feature a pair of Z06 GT3Rs in IMSA's GTD class.
Yeah, this is the second announcement we've been waiting for with Pratt Miller Motorsports, Canada's AWA Racing. They announced last Thursday on Twitter that they'll be fielding the dual Z06 GT3R racers in the GTD class in IMSA for both the 2024 and 2025 seasons. So for Corvette racing fans, we'll now have 4 Z06 GT3R racers to root for, which is great. We'll have the 2 in the GTD Pro class fielded by Pratt Miller Motorsports, and then the 2 from AWA Racing. That team is currently racing in the LMP3 class at IMSA. They actually won their class at the Rolex 24 at Daytona this year. We always like to welcome these new companies and organizations to the Corvette Nation. We always like to say, welcome to the Lunatic Fringe, because, your autograph lines just doubled in size. The amount of merchandise and apparel that you sold is probably going to skyrocket. So I would definitely embrace the Corvette lifestyle and get on some of that stuff right away. But again, great news for Corvette fans. The other thing too is I didn't really delve into this in any substance yet, but there's a lot of talk about how Corvette Racing might be using its driver pool, and we might see these different racers here and there, like Jordan and Antonio split up and maybe going on, but maybe not, because Pratt & Miller's got two cars. Maybe we'll see them together as a team. There's still a whole lot of up in the air about that, but that stuff usually starts to flesh it out before the end of the season at Petit Le Mans. I'd be looking for the next month or so, month and a half, to see any kind of announcements that do come out of Pratt Miller Motorsports over their drivers lineup, because we should be getting some announcements shortly, I would think.
I would think so too. And I'm real excited about the GT3Rs. I think this is going to be great. I'm sad to see Corvette Racing going away in its current form, but man, those GT3Rs are just awesome looking cars.
They are. And we say Corvette Racing going away, but are they really? I don't see what I was expecting leading up to those announcements, and then seeing where you have the two cars by Pratt & Miller Motorsports. It doesn't feel like Corvette Racing's really going away. It really feels like a name change. It's up to the fans to embrace that name change. They're going to keep calling it Corvette Racing no matter what. So we'll just have to see how fans embrace these new cars, these new teams. I think it's going to be pretty big, though.
I think so too. Corvette Racing is not going away. It's evolving and morphing. That's what I think.
There you go.
Also, in the rumors category, we hear that Bowling Green Assembly Plant and the UAW are starting to do their local negotiations.
Yeah, so, this is a contract year. So the national labor talk started on July 18th between the big three automakers and the United Auto Workers Union. In Kentucky, members of the UAW Local 2164 in Bowling Green, they're going to have a Q&A session on August 12th as their local bargaining positioning begins over there. The local president, Brian Ferret, was on WKU Public Radio and was talking about some of the goals they had for their new agreement. They wanted to see an elimination of the current tiered wage system. They wanted to win back some cost of living adjustments and some better working conditions. From the local side, the working conditions and things like that, the things that directly affect those workers at that plant is where they have their most control. The current tiered wage system, winning back cost of living adjustments, that's probably mostly dealt with the national negotiations. We're really hoping the negotiations go a lot smoother than they did in 2019. We had the UAW do a nationwide strike against GM that lasted, I think, around 5 weeks or so. We do know that it delayed the start of the 2020 Corvette Stingray from December of 2019 into February of 2020. So we're really hoping that things are smoother. There's been some talk that Mary Barra and her team are showing some interest in offering some of those concessions, but it's the opposite from Ford. We're hearing there's a little bit more trouble there and increasing wages. So it's going to be interesting to see how each of these three automakers works with the UAW. One other point, there was a study that showed the economic impact of General Motors in Kentucky. $1.7 billion in GDP contributions. Wow. $326 million in tax receipts. And there's 13,000 jobs through Bowling Green plant and all its suppliers to support the Corvette and other programs in Kentucky. It's a huge thing. We just hope things go really smooth. We don't want to see anything disrupt the launch of the 2024 Corvettes. I think the contracts are over. I think the national contract ends on September 15th. Okay. Of course, our cars are starting on the 12th. So you can see it's all going to kind of come to head there in that mid-September time period.
Yep, that's for sure. And we also heard that the 2024 E-Ray is going to be competing for the North American Car of the Year. That's outstanding.
Yeah, the North American Car of the Year, it's a collaboration. They call it the North American Car Truck of the Year organization. So there's 3 awards. They do the Car of the Year, the Truck of the Year, and now the Utility Vehicle of the Year. It used to be the Sport Utility Vehicle of the Year, but now they just call it the Utility Vehicle of the Year. This is all done in conjunction with the Detroit Auto Dealers Association. What happens is there's 50 automotive journalists that make up the jury, and they'll have the next few weeks to review and test all the cars available in the competition, the cars, the trucks, and the utility vehicles. And then they'll file their reports back to the organization. And then we'll get what's called the semifinalist. They call this list the best of 2024. That'll be announced during the Detroit Auto Show, September 13th.
Okay.
We're just actually a little over a month away from the semifinalists being named. And then the finalists for the award will be named November 16th at the LA Auto Show. And I think they pick 3 per category there. The winners of each of those categories, the car, truck, and utility vehicles, they'll be announced on January 4th as the overall. That'll be the 30th anniversary for these honors. And of course, we all know the 2020 Corvette Stingray won this award in 2020. We're really hoping that the E-Ray can come up with the same kind of magic to get that win again. Because of the E-Ray and the performance hybrid, and it touches on some of the things that a lot of the regular automotive journalists might like, the hybrid platforms and such, we might see it make it to those later rounds of voting. So that's what we're hoping for.
We'll keep our fingers crossed, buddy. That's for sure. All right, let's take our final break. Let's sell a couple things. We'll pay a couple bills, and we'll come back with the lighter side of Corvette up next on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up there. At True Wealth & Company, we take that to heart. See, at True Wealth & Company, we believe your retirement lifestyle travels through two doors. Door number one, the blue door, gives you more options, financial freedom. Your money outlives you. Every happiness you wish for in life is through the blue door. Door number two, the red door, is where you outlive your money. You rely on family, friends, or even the state to take care of you. At True Wealth & Company, we're not just financial planners. The best way to walk through the blue door is to have a written plan. Make a work-optional lifestyle a reality with our proprietary True Life Map formula. Look towards your future with anticipation, not apprehension. Having a rock-solid fiduciary partner like True Wealth & Company is essential to effective financial planning. There's no winging it. There's nothing left to chance. Look, we don't want you to become another Yogi Berra-ism. Give us a call today at 913-653-TRUE. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Start your financial independence and work-optional lifestyle today.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25. And every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Car show season is here, and you want your Corvette looking its best. Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit Wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit Wheelcraft.com today or call them 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is my buddy Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. If you want a deeper dive into any of the stories that Keith and I cover on this show, you can always go to CorvetteBlogger.com. In this final segment, we always talk about the lighter side of Corvette. Keith, this was interesting. I haven't heard this name forever. Joey Chitwood had a C1, a 58 Fuley, and it sold on Bring a Trailer.
Yeah, but it's the backstory that's really incredible. So if you're not familiar with the Joey Chitwood Thrill Show, this was one of these attractions that traveled from city to city. I think they started right after the war, like 46 or 47, and they would do stunts for crowds. So they would jump from one ramp to another. They'd jump over things. They would force the car up on 2 wheels and ride around on 2 wheels, just all kinds of stuff. And it was really cool back in the day. A lot of people remember these shows. In fact, there's video where they came out to General General Motors, and the whole crowd's filled with people with white shirts, all the engineers and stuff, all the engineering white shirts out there, watching these cars do these death-defying stunts. The drivers were called the Hell Riders. The story goes that Evel Knievel was greatly impacted by what he saw Joey Chitwood doing and then took his stuff to a whole new level. One of the cars that they had was given to him directly by Chevrolet. It was a 1958 Fuelie. They only used it for a year. There's a famous picture of the car jumping off a ramp with the crowd in the background. They used the car for a year, and then it was retired and sold. The second owner actually kept it for about 50 years or so.
Wow.
It was eventually found and restored. We've seen the car come up and go. We saw it in person at Mecum maybe 5 or 7 years ago in Kissimmee. And actually there I met Joey Chitwood Jr. And then Joey Chitwood III is also involved in automotive stuff. I think at one point he was like the director of the raceway in Daytona. But this whole family's just grown up with these car stuff. So here's this 58 Fuelie that's been jumping around and stuff like that. It's totally restored. It's got the great Chitwood Thrill Show graphics on it. When it went to bring a trailer, it actually sold for $180,000.
Wow.
New owner said that he's got a real big personal connection to the car. Sounds like maybe family or friends were involved with it back in the day. So he's all excited to get hold of this car. It's a really cool thing. If you don't know Joey Chitwood, Joey, Joie, Chitwood, go to YouTube and do some videos because there's some really cool stuff out there.
There really is. And also there was a 1954 styling Corvette that I saw at Amelia Island in person, and that's also heading to auction. That one's going to the Pebble Beach show.
Yeah, this car's got a really interesting history. We've delved into it a couple times. The first time we saw it at a Bloomington Gold show, and it was actually sold, it was being billed as a 1953 car. It's actually a 54. The story goes that it was pulled off the line and it was painted and used in the GM Motorama shows. And then it was given a shop order 2151, and then it was turned into this styling car. And it was really unique because what Chevy would do is they would style the car on one side one way, flip around the car, do it something different, and then they'd go outside and be on a turntable, and all the execs would be out there looking at it saying, what do we want to do for any changes? Is this anything that makes sense to do? So here's this car with these two different designs. I mean, not majorly radical designs, but they were definitely different. The other thing, too, is it was painted like a Bermuda green.
Right.
It just had this green interior as well. So a very beautiful car. Well, the car disappears as they usually do. It popped up in 63, and supposedly in 74, it was just a basket case. And a guy named George Campbell, he bought it. He owned it for about 40 years or so. He was researching the history. He was trying to gather some parts for restoration. Unfortunately, he passed away before he could do anything with it. But it was this new owner that really then took it and did 1,800 hours of restoration on the car. And like you said, it's only been shown once publicly at the 2023 Amelia Island Concourse. It's going to be out at the Pebble Beach auction. Gooding & Company is going to be doing the sale on it. You better bring a banker, Steve, because the pre-sale estimates have it selling for about $1.5 million to $2 million.
Wow. I saw the car. I touched the car. It was really, really cool. And I talked to the owner. He talked with me for a long time. He said, I love Corvette Today. I'm so glad you came by to see the car. But it was really, really cool. I'm surprised that it's going up for bid at auction. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, there's a guy named Jerry Heasley did a video on it. They talked extensively about the restoration, how they had to fabricate all these parts by hand,
right,
trying to find all these pictures to match everything up with. I mean, just an amazing job. I mean, you're part doing automotive restoration, but you're also doing archaeology at the same point, trying to figure out exactly how the car looked and was presented and then trying to match that. Fantastic job there. We're anxious to see what this car is going to do there.
I know.
Speaking of Pebble Beach auction, Mecum's going to be out there for 3 days, and they've got some amazing cars as well. So there's going to be some news breaking there about some of the cars coming through that auction. So I think it's going to be a great weekend for car people out at Monterey.
Yeah, Pebble Beach is going to be the place to be, that's for sure. Also, another place to be is the Woodward Dream Show, because they're going to have 70 Corvettes there representing every single year of Corvette from 1953 to 2023.
Yeah, so if there's not enough to do around Metro Detroit in the month of August, there's always the Woodward Dream Cruise that comes. I had the fortunate to be up there for 2012 as a guest of Chevrolet. Although I think they punished me, Steve, because they gave me a manual car to drive at Dream Cruise, which is stop, go, stop, go, stop, go.
Right.
Talk about not skipping leg day. It was a fantastic experience to be up there for that. The M1 Concourse is this track that's up there in Metro Detroit, and they're doing this exclusive gathering of 70 years of Corvette. So it's invite only for the cars. They'll have one from each model year. And then they went out and they also have the 1983 Corvette coming up from the National Corvette Museum.
Oh.
We're actually told that this is the first time that the 83 Corvette has been let go, has been pried loose from the NCM.
Wow.
We go to the museum every year. We see it. It's kind of become old hat to us. But for all these people that have never made it to the museum, it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the 1983 car, plus the 70 other cars that are going to be representing each and every year. One of those cars actually is from our Detroit bureau, Steve Burns.
Nice.
He was invited to show off his green 1994 ZR1. If you do go to the show, make sure to say hello to him up there. There's going to be other events. They got like hot laps going. There's seminars. There's going to be food and beverage trucks out there. And then there's a after show concert from like 5:30 to 7:30. That's on the Friday before the Woodward Dream Cruise. And then on Saturday, the Woodward Dream Cruise, they're doing parking for like $20 a vehicle. And then all kinds of stuff going on there too. That's always one of the things up there is parking is a premium because most people don't drive the whole time. They'll drive for a while and then they'll park and watch all the cars. It's a big part of the event. M1 Concourse is the name of it, and you can get your tickets up there.
That sounds like fun. Also, going back to 1954, Keith, there was a 54 Corvette owned by Jerry Lewis, and it's up for sale. It's on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace, which, sometimes you're surprised at what you get. It's an unrestored car. It has 21,000 miles on the odometer. It was actually owned by Jerry Lee Lewis, the famous rocker. One of the reasons why we know this, the documentation is there's an IRS letter which states that the car was seized in 1980, along with two other vehicles over back taxes owned by Jerry Lee Lewis. So that's unfortunate. But again, the car appears to be unrestored, but it's a video of the car running. It looks like a great candidate for restoration, especially with its celebrity ownership. Maybe there's some additional documentation out there with Jerry Lee Lewis's name on it. And boy, if you could find a photo of him in the car, that would be gold.
Yeah, absolutely right. And our final story, Keith, this is really cool as well. We've got some great lifestyle stories. The Peterson Automotive Museum is going to have a Corvettes in Competition Racing America's Sports Car coming up real soon.
Yeah, this is actually a fantastic collection of competition Corvettes that they put together. The exhibit actually opened on Saturday. It features just significant race cars from early to the latest ones that you're thinking of. Cars featured include like the 1960 Cunningham Le Mans Racer, the #1 car.
Wow.
1963 Grand Sport, the 76 Spirit of Le Mans, 1989 Corvette Challenge Racer, 1995 Callaway Le Mans race car, and then several examples of Corvette racing. C5R that was raced at Daytona with Dale Earnhardt and Dale Jr. You have a C6R, a C7R. There's some other cars out there, some very classics like the Rio McCoy from 56. So yeah, it looks like a great collection. You can actually check that out at the Peterson Automotive Museum. And if you go to their website, they actually have pictures of the cars up so you can see the different ones that are going to be on display. Definitely one that I would love to see. Too bad it's out in Los Angeles. We might have to do another bonsai run like we did back in the day. Yeah, great collection of competition Corvettes at the Peterson.
Let's see. I got to go to L.A. to the Peterson. I've got to go up to Detroit for the Woodward. Then we've got to go to Corvettes at Carlisle. Then we've got the anniversary celebration at the museum. We're going to be busy.
Our dance card is full, my friend.
Yep. Absolutely right. Well, buddy, thanks for being on Corvette Today. Have a good 2 weeks, and we'll see you back here in a couple.
Thanks, Steve. Everybody out there, just keep watching, waving, and if we see you out there, throw those arms up.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, and please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors. Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening. to Corvette Today.